Okay, in this video we talk about Star Trek Picard, episode 8 called Mercy. There will be some spoilers in here because it's hard to give a proper critique without mentioning some of the things that happen here, so be forewarned after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and in Mercy, the title of the episode is kind of odd in that we don't really see much mercy being given here to anyone. Everybody is in kind of a pickle. When we start out, Picard and Guinan have been arrested by the FBI and put into some kind of containment area. And they seem to know that they are aliens of some sort, although Picard really isn't. They have also Rios and the doctor on board the La Serena, as you recall from last week, and her son there too, frantically pushing buttons on everything that he can push buttons on. Rios is not terribly concerned about this because everything's turned off anyway. But we have ways of getting a little bit of backstory on the doctor and a little more advancement, baby steps, I would say, in the romantic entanglement that they're in right now. Then we have Raffi and Seven, who are tracking Agnes, who is still in the red dress and being occupied by the Borg Queen. There's still some question in the minds of them as to whether it's the Queen or Agnes that has the upper hand, or if there's enough Agnes in there that she can fight her way out of it. A couple of incidents would indicate that perhaps Agnes is still there enough, at least to offer some resistance. But how effective that's going to be is yet to be found out. We also find Q back in this episode, and Q is now aware, and we're now aware that Q believes that he is dying. And while members of the continuum do die usually at the hands of someone else, a natural death is almost unheard of. And Q is trying to come to terms with this and has quite an eloquent soliloquy when he first meets Guinan. And there are a number of good lines here. He's looking for the warm glow of meaning that would come from not what he would want to call death, but going on to the next phase. And in fact, in the point of where Guinan tries to snap him back into the present day and how we can help spring Picard, he says the trap is immaterial, it's the escape that counts, and then gives a clue on how Picard can escape, which is basically talking the guard out of it. I can see where they were trying to go with this, but I'm not completely sold on the idea that you have an FBI agent who is, even if he is somewhat sympathetic, would not really be talked out of letting someone go. And in fact, he just does. And this allows Picard and Guinan to go on their way, but not before other problems creep up. We know pretty much for a fact that Rene Picard has to make this flight. If she doesn't, that's what causes the Confederation. And the discovery of this life form that she finds will clean up the Earth, eliminate all the pollution, and allow them to move forward in things like the flight of Zefram Cochrane, which will come 40 years later in the timeline. At any rate, the interesting thing that we have with that is how it ties in to Adam Sung. And apparently, if the flight is not made, Adam Sung becomes more prominent and artificial life forms get a step farther along. And this is part of what leads to the Confederation. So as the Borg Queen and Sung inevitably meet, there is what that plan is going to be in order to get Sung's ideas going and what the Queen really wants. It's been no guesswork needed prior to this that she wants control of the ship, but we don't know if she wants to put the collective back together or why it's in her interest to go ahead and go with the Confederation, which had destroyed just about all the Borg, or there's something else in here, a third way, that has not occurred to us yet and not revealed by the story thus far. We're trying to figure out how that relates back to Picard, and it all has to in this story. So what is it that Picard can do to foil the Queen's plans and Sung's plans, and presumably we don't have any problem with Renee wanting to make the flight, but is there something that could cause the mission to scrub? How is this going to do? I suspect that we're going to have to get all the characters in one room before we know what's going to happen there, and 2 more episodes to go. So as we've seen in the last season of Picard, the plot moves along slowly until the very last episode, and then all the ends are tied together miraculously, and they fly off into the sunset. I imagine that's what's going to happen here as well. It would have been nice if they'd had some variation in the plot. In the first season, it was Agnes that was compromised, and then we have rescue by Starfleet, and Picard is able to overcome the Romulans then. And now we have the second time that Agnes has been compromised, and we don't know how we're going to not kill her, but at the same time defeat the Borg once again. So there's some questions to be asked, and I wonder if there's a realistic way to get out of this without it being a satisfying ending. So we'll just have to see about that. So I'd like to know what you think about this, and while you're thinking about it, why not hit the subscribe button? It's absolutely free and helps the channel. We have also a little bell that you can ring so you know when the next video comes your way. We're going to be doing some extra videos this week, so I hope you'll be able to catch those. So by ringing the bell, you'll know that is when that comes about. In the meantime, also, please leave your comments below. I'd be interested in knowing what you think about this episode and what you think about the series so far. Also, while you're there, you can answer a question for me if you're interested in my doing reviews of the original series. I found that there have been very few out there that actually take episode by episode of the original 3 seasons of Star Trek and give it a YouTube review. So if you'd like me to do that, why not let me know in the comments as well, and I will take that all into consideration. So in the meantime, we will wait to hear from you. Don't go far.